All right, guys. We have one last chapter we're going to do together, and it is the stock market. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, day one, I have like no personal experience with the stock market. So like every other chapter, I've been able to like tell you stories about this, that, or the other. Like, yeah, I got nothing. So this is like my least favorite chapter, just because I don't have any life experience with it. So, but anyway, I will give you at least kind of an intro to it. You can at least get some info on it. We'll do a little stock market project for, about a week and a half, kind of looking at picking stocks and seeing how well you do over the course of a week, and we'll kind of look at it from there. But I love that quote: "The safe way to double your money is to fold it over once and put it in your pocket." Because, no. Because honestly, guys, stock market, you can invest and you can make all kinds of money, or you can invest and you can lose everything. So don't trust Apple. Wow. But they can come back just as fast, too. You just never know, though. Oh, I don't know. Again, I don't watch the stock market. I have no idea. Just some interesting things, though. Amazon, obviously everyone knows who Amazon is. It was originally called Cadabra.com. Cadabra. I don't know if it was like for abracadabra. But they changed their name. They wanted an A for it for alphabetical reasons, but then also they wanted to name it after Amazon River. It is the largest volume river, and obviously Amazon is one of the largest volume retailers. Oh, it's a warehouse. Does that mean I'm going to get stuff like same day? That'd be awesome. I know it's huge. It's huge. That could be like an amazing job, right? Like just be a drone driver. Yeah, wouldn't that be cool though? Sitting in an office, just flying packages around. Adidas, guys. Adidas, I like that one just because it's named after the founder, which is Adolf. He went by Addy Dassler, so it's just the first three letters for Addy and then the first three letters of his last name. That's where Adidas comes from, the name. eBay, they wanted to name it Echo Bay, but that name was a gold mining company, so they couldn't take that name, so that's why it's just eBay, the E from Echo Bay. So that's where it came from. All right, so the first section is about business organization. So we got a lot of vocab, some terminology, and then like how like different people own different parts and things like that. So vocab first. So money used to start or expand a business is capital. You guys have probably heard like a capital investment, things like that. That's that money that you're putting forth to start a business. Yes. Mm-hmm. No. Sorry. If I had you for a longer time, maybe. Yeah. I don't run my own business. I would go to find someone who actually runs their own business and ask them. They'd be better help than I would. No. A business owned by one person is called a sole proprietorship. Obviously, if you're doing matching on vocab, sole is a one-person sole proprietorship. You own it all by yourself. Proprietorship. Isn't that a fun word? Oh, come on. It's a fun word. The owner of a business is the proprietor. This person is responsible for all expenses, including labor and raw materials used in manufacturing a product or providing a service. So if you are the owner, the proprietor, you are responsible for all of the cost. So if you're the sole proprietor, you're the only one who owns it, you're responsible for everything. All right, money left after all expenses have been paid. You guys probably know that one right now. There it is. Profit. Somebody said change. That's kind of funny. I know. It takes a while to turn that brain back on today. But yeah, money left after all expenses have been paid. The owner of the sole proprietorship is entitled to all of it. So if you're the only one who owns the business, you get all the profits. All right. If you are the responsible one, you are personally liable. You are responsible. The owner is responsible for any losses. If the business does not make a profit, the owner still pays all the bills of the business. So whether you're losing money or making money, you have to pay everything. You are personally liable. Yes. What? Why? Oh, Perrysburg didn't either. They have a teacher in service today. But we do. Yeah, so see, you're good. All right, a business that is owned by a group of people called partners is called a partnership. So you go in with some friends, you guys start your own business together, you guys are partners, you share all the profits, you share responsibility for the losses, and personal liability may require risking personal property. Now guys, I need you to make a note of this. If you have a partnership and somebody sues you and your company is not worth enough to cover it, you have to then take that on personally. So they might have to sell your house or go into debt or whatever else to cover something like that. Partnerships are personally liable. So you will have to take your personal possessions possibly to cover something of your debts. If somebody sues you, something like that. Okay? Partnerships are personally liable. Not every kind of business is. Partnerships are. So you're providing collateral. Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah. A business organization that can be owned by one person or a group of people is called a corporation. Corporations are not personally liable. Okay? Yep, business class would cover all this. Shares of stock. So like the difference between a partnership and a corporation. A partnership is just a group of people own that together and they're the ones that own the company. Now a corporation means you have stocks that other people can invest in you and buy stocks of your company. Okay, that's what makes it a corporation. Shares of stock represent a share of ownership in the corporation. Each owner who invests money in the corporation receives shares of stock. So like you guys talking about, like he said, Apple, and what you guys know, there's tons of stock out there that you could purchase. You guys could be a part owner of a corporation. If you buy stock, you are a part owner. There could be millions of owners, right? Everybody who invests together in that. Yeah.
So, I have no idea, but do you have any say in the company?
No. Not unless you own a whole lot of shares. Not really, no. All right. So shareholders are the people who own the shares of stock in the corporation. So corporation means there's stock that can be purchased. If you buy that, you are then a shareholder. Okay, number of shareholders in a corporation depends on the structure of the business. So some businesses kind of separate it, and so there's like millions of stocks of lots of people. Some of them just kind of separate it into like so many. So there's limited amounts of stock out there. We'll watch a video. It's either tomorrow or Wednesday. I can't remember which day it is. But we'll watch a short video that kind of explains a little better like how all businesses break down stocks and stuff and how that kind of works. All right, and then limited liability is not being able to lose any more than the value of the owned shares if a corporation fails and does not make a profit. So in other words, partnership, if you get sued in a partnership, you are responsible to pay for that. Even if your business is not, if you got sued for $2 million, your business is only worth $1 million, you are responsible for the other $1 million. So whether you are selling your house or going bankrupt or whatever's happening, you are responsible. In a corporation, you sell shares of stock, right? There's shareholders, things like that. You cannot lose more than the company's worth. Your company's worth $1 million, you get sued for $2 million, they get $1 million and that's it, you're done. So you don't have to go ahead and like sell off your house and everything. Does that make sense? Partnerships sucks. Corporation does not have to take their own personal stuff. All right. A corporation where all of the shares are owned solely by a few individuals. It's called a private corporation. It's not available for sale to the public. So like the New York Yankees, they do have stock in the New York Yankees, but it's not for sale to the public. Not just anybody can purchase that. Lego is another example of a company like that. It is a private corporation. There are stock, it's a corporation, but you and I can't go out right today and buy stock in it. Lego. All right, and then where anyone can buy it, is a public corporation. It's like Nike, McDonald's, Apple. Those are all public corporations. You could get online right now and you could purchase stock in any one of those companies. You think it is or isn't? I don't know. I don't follow the stock market. I have no idea. When we'll spend some time in here looking up different stocks and just kind of seeing what's going on with them, it's always shocking to me. The things you think would have super high values of stock are never the ones that you think. It's always weird things that you don't think of. Some people follow that religiously.
Oh my gosh, she's so annoying with that.
No, they don't. Nope. I think it's 5. 4 or 5. We'll talk about that. All right. Number 1, Michelle invests $15,000 in a partnership, guys. In a partnership that has 4 other partners. The total investment of all partners is $240,000. What percent of the business does Michelle own? So if we're talking percent, do you guys remember we always talked about part over whole? So her part is $15,000. What's the whole? Is 240 the total? The total investment of all partners is 240. Does that include her or does it not? That's the partners. So 240,000 is what the partners put in. She's got another 15,000, so 255,000 is the whole. So 15,000 divided by 255,000. So that's about, what is that? Yeah, about 5.9%. Or you could tell me 6%, I didn't specify. So she only owns roughly 6% of the company. Right, she's still going to make money off that. Okay, so just be careful when it's asking about percent. It's always part over whole. So just kind of look and see what's the whole thing worth altogether. So number 2, Kyle invests $20,000 in a partnership that has 5 other partners. The total investment of the partners is $160,000. What percent of the business is owned by the 5 other partners? So again, if it's every time it's asking for percent, that's going to be your part over whole. So it's talking about the partners. What's their part? 160,000. What's the whole? 180,000. If it doesn't say, you can round to the nearest whole, it's fine. 88.8 or 88.9, so we'll just go with 89%. So what percent does Kyle own? He owns 11%. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, so Kyle's 11% then. Questions on finding the percent? Just remember, if it says percent, you want part over whole. All right, the total number of shares of stock in the Bulls Corporation is 650,000 shares. Mike owns 12% of the shares. How many shares of Bulls Corporation stock does he own? Good. Yep, just 12%, which is 0.12, times 650,000. And we'll find out how many shares he has. See, this isn't too hard of math to come back to, is it? It's not bad. Good. He owns 78,000 shares. Shares are like stocks. How many shares of stock? So how many? Yes. How many little pieces? So they separated theirs into 650,000 pieces. In my mind, I picture almost like Lego blocks. So they took 650,000 Lego blocks. And that's what their company is. So he owns 78,000 Lego blocks out of all of them. The video we watch will it shows like an image, like it makes more sense. That's kind of probably why I think of it the way I do. Jillian owns 60% of the stock in a private catering corporation. There are 1,200 shares in the entire corporation. How many shares does Jillian own? It's percent. Do me a favor. Divide it and see what you get. So how can he own 2,000 shares when there's only 1,200? I just want you to like really stop and think about what you just found, right? But I want you to you see what happened though? Like if you would get that as an answer, like if you did that on a test, I hope you would look at that and be like, wait a minute, I can't own more shares than there actually were to start with. Right, that should be a red flag to you. Yeah. That is scientific notation? What did you do? You divided, that's why. That's a really, really tiny decimal. That's 0.0005. That's what that is.
Well, you said like divide.
Oh, you divided it backwards from what he was doing. But yeah, we don't want to do that. So she owns 720 shares. All right, how are we doing? We found percentages. We found the number of shares. Yeah. Well, here, this one will get a $sign. Bless you. All right, 3 partners are investing a total of $900,000 to open a garden and landscaping store. Their investments are in the ratio 2 to 3 to 5. Does anybody know what that means? How many parts are there? Josh?
One person owns 5, well, total there's 9, 5, 2, and one person owns 5, one person owns 2.
Good. Yeah, that's exactly what that means. And what did you say, Kurt? It was out of 10. No, you're absolutely right. So guys, anytime you see these ratios like this, the first thing I would do is tell me how many there are. There are 10 total, right? 5 plus 3 plus 2, I just added them together, there's 10. So in other words, if I divided the company into 10 parts, one person owns 2, one owns 3, and one owns 5. That's what that means. Okay, hold on. So how much does the partner that invested the least contribute? So the least one is which one? 2. So the least is somebody owns 2 out of the 10. Yes, you don't have to switch it to a percentage, but so 2 out of the 10 of the $900,000, and you will multiply. So far, have I ever divided anything? Nope. So 2 out of 10 times 900,000. So the person who owns 2 shares, they invested $180,000. It is dollars because it was talking about $900,000. So we're figuring out the least amount of person was the $180,000 worth. It is still a lot of money. Hi, Logan, Erica, and Mary, congratulations, and Logan, who's not here, invested in a partnership in the ratio 1 to 4 to 7, respectively. Now, when it says that, so let's kind of talk Mary. How many shares did Mary have? 7. What about Logan? 1. So that respectively just means in this order, right? It's Logan, then Erica, then Mary. So this is Logan, and then Erica, and then Mary. Okay, so that's what that means when it says respectively. It's just in the same order that it was listed. Years later, when the partnership was worth $1.6 million, Erica decides to go to graduate school and sells her part of the partnership to Logan. How much would Logan need to pay Erica to buy her share of the business? Round to the nearest dollar. Okay, so how many shares were there? 12, right? The first thing I want you guys to do is look at that. There are 12. So if Logan is buying Erica's, how many did Erica own? 4, right? Erica's the second name, so she's the second one. Erica's 4 out of the 12. And how much is it worth now? 1.6 million, which is 1,600,000. If you're ever not sure how to switch that 1.6 million, just do 1.6 times a million, and that'll switch that for you, okay, to 1,600,000. So 4 out of 12, and multiplying that by 1.6 million. So how much does he have to pay? $533,333. 0.33, round to the nearest dollar, is going to be right here. So if he wants to buy her out, that's how much he has to pay her. That'll give her more than enough money to go to grad school. What percent of the business will Logan own after he buys Erica's portion? So how many shares then will Logan own? 5. 5 out of how many? 5 out of 12. What's 5 out of 12 as a percent? If you got a 5 out of 12 on a quiz, how would you find what grade you got? You just do 5 divided by 12, and it would give you, to the nearest tenth of a percent?
42.
Nearest tenth?
41.
Thank you. 41.7. Hold it, nearest tenth, 42. No. Nearest percent would be 42. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, most people miss this question, I think, because they just overthink it. So 5 out of 12 is just change that to a percent. Just divide them. Okay? A private corporation owned by 35 shareholders is worth $1.7 million. The corporation loses a lawsuit worth $3 million. What is the value of any personal property of the shareholders that can be taken to pay the settlement? So the value of any personal property would be how much? 0. Yes. 0, because it asked any personal property. What's the value of their personal? Nothing. 0. They can't. It's a corporation. Yes. Yep. Yep. So if they get sued for $3 million, sorry, the people suing them only going to get 1.7 because that's all the company is worth. Corporations cannot be liable for anything beyond that. All right. Now, if it was a partnership, then could they? Yes, then they could. And that is the next question. Yes. A partnership is owned equally by 13 partners. It's worth $1.3 million. The partnership loses a lawsuit worth $3 million. What is the value of any personal property each partner must forfeit to pay the settlement? Again, since it is a partnership, they are liable. So you said 1.7. I agree, right? So because that's just the 3 million minus the 1.3 million, right? So they have $1.7 million that they are personally liable for. But what says, what is the value of any personal property each partner? Divide that by 13. $3 million minus, what's 3 minus 1.3? That's 1.7? 1.7? Yeah. 3 minus 1.3 is 1.7. So I have to do 1.7 million, so 1,700,000 divided by 13. So each person would be responsible for $130,769.23. That's per person. So somebody's losing a house. Yeah. Yes, you can. Yep, absolutely can. A partnership is just like you can like personally choose like your partners, you're going with your friends or whatever, you're doing the business. Private corporation, you do sell shares of stock, just not publicly. Not just any Joe Schmo can buy them.
So that's for somebody like
And I would have to look, I don't know the exact like how you sell, like do you get to pick or like, but it's definitely going to be divided amongst more between just like 13 people. It could be. All right, how are we feeling about so far with stock market? All right, test you.